Good afternoon and welcome back. I mean, it's more noon than afternoon, but I wasn't sure if I could call this morning stream. So I'm playing around with different names for the stream for different times. So, yeah, what am I going to do today? Last time I worked a bit on the interior for the brewery. Thank you for the host. And there was another host before that. Play Kampfscharf and Feindflug developer. Thanks for the hosts. Yeah, added the rough interior here. Bit of lamps. Something that you can see, this is a storage room. And then a bit of lighting down here. Placeholders for the brewing vats. And then the storage room down here where we find the ale barrel that we need for one of the quests. And then I added a button here that you can't really see. Thank you for the host. Unreal Engine. Thank you. And here we have our two secret doors. And the last thing I added was this empty room here. Reality O, thanks for the host. And here I added the recipe. It's part of the main quest. It's the recipe you have to find and bring back to the main city. That's why you are here. And here I added beginning of a cave, but I'm not really happy with this because I wanted to have the cave being bigger, and not sure if I want to have it just round, and so as a result it's a bit stopped here. Thank you for the host, Metrios. But the walls and cave and all that stuff is not final yet, because I might rebuild that in Blender at some point. The walls I definitely need to rebuild in Blender, because I need to change the textures, and for that I need to change either the UVs or the complete layout of this complete look. And for that I need to put a bit of work in Blender. Yeah, and here I need to figure out what I want to have on the upper floor. Need to make a few sketches for this and get the layout done. But today I want to do something else. Something different. The moment I'm using this UI texture here, which works for most stuff, but the problem is that it has a background, and that means it doesn't really stretch well. So it works in its original size, but if I use it for a different UI, like my inventory here, you can see that it doesn't really work here, because this is stretched, and you see that it's not working correctly, and I have problems here. That's because the texture is too noisy, and it's not tiling correctly. So I might need to create my own textures for that, which is kind of a pain because I don't really like working on 2D stuff. And I also need button graphics for these. So it might be something I need to look at. Yeah, let's do that. I don't really like it, but let's just try to figure out how to work with that. And yes, I'm using really old version of Photoshop. Let's see. How big do these images need to be? I mean, they don't need to be that big. They are just simple colors and I can stretch them. So let's see. can't I undo that? These three. Undo my rectangle tool. Yes. Thank you. Let's see, we have no. No gradient overlay. No shadow. And let's remove the background. Delete layer. Yes. Okay. Okay. Now the color. I don't know. Let's make this. That. No. Hmm. Let's just. Save that. Ah, damn it. So I need to give it a different name so I can import it. Awesome. Let's though I could have done this differently, but let's. Yeah, I could have just used a color here. But the thing is, I want to add to that at some point, so it's okay. Strange. Was it? This needs to be black now. Yeah, damn it. Let's see how this looks like. Yeah. It's definitely more simple and stuff like that, but it loses a lot. Let's see, maybe I can add stuff to that. Textures. this one here. Re-import. Yeah. Thank you for the host. Let's see. Thank you for the host. Yeah, it's a bit more minimalistic, but not sure about it. I need to figure out the proper look for it, I think. So, need to make a few sketches and think about that. So, nothing we can do here now. Let's see, what else can I do? Hmm. So, let's see. Yeah, let's just run through the game and see if there's something that comes to mind that I need to fix or need to work on. Why is he just standing around here? Sometimes it doesn't trigger him correctly, because he's supposed to walk towards the mouth of the cave and wave at us, but doesn't do that properly. Now he's just standing around here. Yeah, he's not doing anything. Oh, and this is... I think I need to make a few notes. Oh, and let's change the scrolling last entry. Okay. Let's get that. Yeah, I need to change this. It has to look kind of like this with the quest names on the side here. And then page, but the whole layout is it's not ideal for both of them. Kind of want to have a book here, then have those as bookmarks, but I need to either find or create a good looking book for that. Or I need to pay someone to make one for me. Yeah, and here the last entry needs to be selected when I open that. And I also need to check give them better names because it doesn't look good. Okay. Something I tried to figure out, but for some reason never got to work. The post-process here. You get out of the water. Everything's blurred. I mean, when you're swimming on the surface, then everything's blurred, but I think it has to do with the area around the post-process volume. I need to fix. Hello. Yeah, I was ill for about a week and slightly longer as well, and had a new appointments and stuff like that. Trying to get my life back on track, which is a mess at the moment. How can I do that? Oh, blend radius. That's it, probably. Yeah, let's make this half size. Yeah, I think that's it. Though it's still too much. Let's see if we remove it completely. Yeah, the problem is they are not positioned precisely enough, so we need to have a bit of blend there. So 0 doesn't work. Let's see. $50 was too much. Let's try 25. Yeah, it's better. Yeah, okay. Makes sense then, yep. But this is... I won't be running that problem because it's just a lake and I don't have a high wave offset. I think it works this way. Even though the problem is that when I'm underwater, the water surface kind of disappears. And the shore just doesn't look good. And I tried a lot of things and I thought I fixed it, but for some reason it doesn't work anymore. I mean, I have depths in here and all that, but for some reason the shore blending is kind of broken. Yeah, let's see. Let's try that. Yeah, okay, that makes the water surface appear again. It's definitely better in that way, but I need to figure something out for the shoreline. I thought I had something here, but must have removed it at some point. Yeah, I think I know what's the problem was. I was playing around with my own material here and didn't use the yeah, I had this water material and was playing around with that. That gave me foam and stuff like that on the shore. But I think something broke in it, and I switched over to the standard water material here. Good. Yeah, that's the thing. The problems with reflection and stuff like that, but that's the material I created. And this has kind of foam here on the border, but it doesn't really have proper depths. So the Unreal material looks a lot better. But I kind of need to add this foam thingy on the side. Because it also created stuff like this, where you have foam around intersecting meshes. Even though in this case the foam kind of glows and has the wrong color maybe, but let's see, where is that? Water plane. Yeah, that looks a lot better. But like I said, I don't have the foam on the shore. I mean, I have this parameter, but I need to add to the base material here. Add stuff to that, so I get the same effect. Another thing is setting up proper reflections. Something I never figured out. Because at the moment it's reflecting the standard reflection, some kind of cube map. And it's not taking it's using the courtyard cube map here, or reflection. I don't know what this is. What is this? But I don't want that. I want my own reflection. Or the world around it reflected in the water. Okay, now I get this effect slightly here. But not on intersecting meshes. Because it's depth space. So okay. Yeah, but the problem is that it's taking the damn cube map and not my environment as a reflection. Ah, okay. Okay, it still has the same reflection. But it could be that I'm doing something wrong here that doesn't really work what I'm doing. Let's run the game. I mean, okay, when we run the game, then I have reflections here. And I have a problem with my son, but that's another thing I need to figure out at some point. Yeah, okay. Reflections are there. And that works. It's just the editor preview that looks a bit strange. But if I look at this, I have reflections of my houses in the background. So it works. And it might look a bit different when the sun is up, because at the moment it's behind that mountain. And I definitely need to rebuild the lighting at some point. Problem is it's kind of killing my PC for... It's kind of freezing my PC for a long time when I'm doing the lighting build. But reflections work now. That's good. Yeah, not sure if it's that tasty. Yeah. Which reminds me, I need to change the sand color a bit, because it doesn't make sense that the sand is that yellow or white. It needs to be darker. And kind of purplish pink as the rest. Materials. Now, need to push it up here. Let's see. And now it takes a long time to recompile all the shaders, because its damn material function needs to recompile everything. Let's see. Kind of placeholder characters I do have in here. Okay. Anyone here that I can use? Warriors. Okay, we need to wait for the shaders to be recompiled before we can look at that. Okay, that's a problem here, but I need to can fix that if I just raise the terrain here. Because sand is supposed to be pink on that side. Yeah, but it's a bit more, makes a bit more sense. Sand is also kind of pinkish colored. Okay. Let's throw this guy in here. So placeholder knight. And that. Oh, and as a result, remove the tree. And let's fix the terrain back here. Okay. Still a few pink spots. Okay. It's better. Thank you for the follow. And the cardboard knight here, I need to add some dialogue too, because he's blocking the road, which I need to do as well. And I also need to figure out a better way to blend those materials together here. Because at the moment it's completely ignoring the height map of the rocks here, which makes the blend look horrible. and here I need to rebuild the lighting, but I can't do that because it takes about 3 or 4 hours to redo the complete lighting for the map, and completely freezes my computer for about 2 hours, which is not good. Yeah, that's another thing I need to figure out how to fix. To have the sun be properly blocked by the mountains. Because at the moment it's lighting the water plane from below. And okay, now it's getting up there, but yeah, but the problem is, you see that I need to rebuild lighting on the terrain tiles. Some of them have strange colors and stuff like this here. I need to do that. And every time I add objects to the world, everything needs to be, the lighting need to be rebuilt for the whole map. I mean, dynamic lighting works, but I still get slight discolorations on in some areas, which can only be fixed if I do the static lighting. Like this line here between those two tiles. There shouldn't be a different color, but for some reason there is. And I don't know how to speed it up, how to have it not freeze my computer. I mean, it wouldn't be a problem for the build later, but because then the lighting will be built as well, but for testing it, it's kind of a pain. The thing is, the map is just too big, and I'm not doing any level streaming and stuff like that. That's the main issue. maybe have different colors. Not sure if you can see the cursor. I mean, they all use the same material, but for some reason some of the tiles get a different color. Not quite sure why. Let's see. Yeah, let's paint the road, because I do need to do that at some point, and let's just do it now. Okay, that's too big. Yeah, that's about the right size. So is there a way to hide the trees for a moment? Just don't show the trees. Yeah, I think that would work. So I can paint the road here properly. Even though, no, the problem is I do need the trees. It's kind of a guideline. just make this really Why does it need shader compiling? It doesn't make sense. No. Here we need to go this way. And further through out here. We need a road going here to that house. To that house as well. Though the house is just kind of placeholder for a whole farm. So here the road would go through the forest. This is just a rough sketch for the road. Back here we have the road running up here. Because we have some ramps here that I built specifically for that. be this farm. I think connected here. This would run up here. Go to this farm. This would mean we need to change this area here a bit. Is it a proper ramp there? Yeah. Hello. And I think now I can remove those. Paint the road here. Is it? It's too much. It's still too big. Um, that's about 2.5 meters wide. So I think it's enough. And it will be a bit wider in the end when I'm adding a bit of dirt around it. It's not a big street, it's just paths, and it's not that frequented, so wouldn't make sense if it were too big and in proper shape. thing is, they don't even know about it. Some of them heard that the brewery is opened up again, but most of them don't know about the MagicAle. And the texture I will change at some point because I'm not happy with it. I don't like the cobblestone here. Will be a still stone pass, but it will be a bit rougher than this one. And with bigger bricks. Bit more weathered. Yeah, and I definitely need to change the trees here, because at the moment they're nice looking and all that, but the problem is they're not blocking the view enough, and it doesn't really look like a thick forest. The other thing is I don't want to put too many trees down because that would have a negative impact on performance. So still a bit of fiddling around with proper parameters and stuff like that. And I mean, those tall trees, yeah, they block the sun a bit, but they are still a bit too small for what I want. Hello. The idea is to have fewer trees, but trees that block the sun and look like proper forest. Block the sun and the view. So fewer trees but bigger ones. And then a few bushes between them. The project is going good. Doing fine. Just going through it and look for areas where I need to fix stuff at the moment. And then I need to prepare the first build that I can give out to people to test. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, it kind of depends on the um this what kind of story it has and how engaging the gameplay is. At least for me, that's story is quite important for me, but doesn't mean that every game has to have a story. Um, let's have a look at that. Because screenshots are easier to comment and talk about than over video. Mm-hmm. Um, what engine are you using? Is it Unity or is it um, Unreal? Unity, yeah. And you're using the 3D Forge assets because they look familiar, which is no problem, but just saw some stuff that looked familiar. And the PBR dragons. Is that a way to make those screenshots bigger? No, it doesn't look like it. But looks nice. I like it. Character builds. Sounds quite ambitious. Oh, okay. Then put a lot of time into it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my game has the first anniversary in a few weeks, so um, but I knew that I was working on it mostly alone, so I kind of stripped everything that would take a lot of time, like classes, skills, and stuff like that. That would need balancing and a lot of time to figure out the right configurations and stuff like that. So it's open world, but it's not an RPG. Kind of threw everything with stats and stuff like that out to kind of save time. Yeah, but I need to create a website for my game at some point and get logos and all that stuff. Also um, make some proper screenshots I can put up somewhere because at the moment I'm only doing the stream and there's no website. I mean, I have Facebook page for the game, but it's empty. Which I need to change at some point. Really need to sit down, go through it, make screenshots. But at the moment, I'm kind of at a stage where I want to um, maybe change the art style. Okay, we'll have a look at that. So let's check the road. Yeah, I definitely need to change the trees. Because around here you should be able to kind of see through the trees and kind of see the farm in the background and in the far background the brewery. Okay, why do we have grass here and nowhere else? It's kind of strange. Um, I want to go kind of cartoony, but still keep a lot of realism in the structures and people. So kind of like Darksiders or World of Warcraft. I need to paint this road here as well. Yeah, the thing is, that's why I kind of created my own buildings and um, my own modular pieces. Um, and at the moment, I'm kind of changing everything that I used from the 3D Forge asset pack. As you can see, the ground here is still using that, and the interior here is all 3D Forge stuff. But I want to change those. Thanks for the follow. And kind of create my own versions of those. And I also need to get some graphics for the UI. Yeah, all this here is 3D Forge. Yep. And here I have just cylinders as placeholders for the big brewery vats and boilers. And the stairs I created myself, but there are a few issues with height and stuff like that, so I need to recreate this interior here. And here we have the barrel, but somewhere here we need to... Yep, there we go. I need to add sounds. The biggest problem I have is that I don't have any sounds. And I really need to add sounds. Okay, where is it? There we go. And I need to add lighting in here. Okay, we don't have the proper quests, but... Yeah, I searched for sounds, but the problem is that I couldn't find proper sounds for my setting, basically. But I didn't took a long time to search, so there might be more that I couldn't find. And the other thing is that you also need to have sounds that are not overused. Which could also be a problem. So let's get the quest and talk to him again and turn that in. Okay, now we have the copper coins here, 150. And they look horrible, but it's something I need to figure out at some point. And let's get the other quest. Problem is that I kind of add the quests to specific triggers in the world, and yeah, here we already have those two parts of the quest done. It's the main quest, and this is not done because we haven't talked to that guy yet. It's kind of story flow backwards what I'm doing at the moment. And yeah, he tells us that we are in the Heart Valley, and then the first spot here is done. Now the only way we need to do is find a way back to the city, and it was something I was working on last time, trying to figure out a way to add particle effect that you can see from distance, but it was a bit of a problem. Didn't work out the way I wanted it to. Because if we run over here, you can see the particle effect there, and there's kind of a placeholder for a crash site here where an airship crashed, and if you help the pilot repair it, then he will take you back to the city. So you would get another quest here, and then when you finish that quest, the game's over. But I haven't built him yet, or any of that. Not the character, not the airship and stuff like that. And the thing is, since I don't really have a budget for anything, to be honest, I do most of the stuff myself. which causes my schedule to be horrible. I think I'm about 2 months behind schedule, just because I played around with procedural towers and in the end just worked on just have the procedural walls and towers here, and kind of as a result took me a long time to work those, but I'm just using the 8-sided towers here and don't use any variations. So I could have just skipped all that time and built them. And the thing is, I really need to rebuild them as soon as I create a proper wall. Here with a different texture. But if I wanted to, I could change the sides here and get a different tower as a result. Even though in some cases just breaks. If I wanted to have a tower that has just 6 sides, it's working there, but the floors are not the right size because these are just static meshes created from a brush. And the houses also were procedural at some point. Now they're just an actor with pieces on it, but I changed them to mesh per floor. And in the end they kind of looked like this. But like I said, I want to change the textures a bit to look slightly cartoony, hand painted, even though they are not really hand painted. Let's see. I bought this one here. Problem is I can't add it to the project because it's not really compatible inside the launcher and stuff like that, so and here we have kind of cobblestone with moss between it. It's kind of what I was thinking for the road. Yeah. And different kinds of chindles here. But I didn't realize that I can't added to the project because it's not updated properly, even though the author says okay it works, but just need to import it into an older project and then kind of copy over the files, which I haven't done yet. Or wait for him to update it before I add it in here. Okay. Let's open that. Some parts of the road that I needed to redo. Where was it? Kind of stopped somewhere. I think it was the road up here. This one is okay. And yeah, this one here. Let's add that road. Yeah, and here I need to figure out how to create the farms. Kind of set fields, then either create or buy crop meshes. Let's see. I have render effects. I have atmospheric fog somewhere. Quite sure if we can select that properly. And I have an exponential height fog. Oh, okay, now I can select it. Let's see, where is that? Oh, it's all in the below the terrain. The origin. Then I have one over here that's supposed to be kind of rolling fog over the water, but I never found out to I never configured it properly. And then we have the exponential height fog. And that glaring sun there is the problem with the terrain not blocking the sun properly. Not sure why it's doing that. The sun is behind and below um, the mountains at the moment, and we still get that glare there, which is really annoying. Haven't figured it out yet. Damn it. Yeah, it is different, so if I have this visible, yeah. Yeah, I see it. So I think I will turn the atmospheric fog off as a result. Only use the exponential height fog. And then maybe create some kind of particle effect on top of the water that make some fog here. By the way, this one I can delete anyway. But there was something that the fog was important for. The atmospheric fog. Was it God rays that need that? No. God rays use the exponential height fog. Yes, I think so. Um, I will stop in maybe, let's see, 15 minutes or so. I will stop as well because I need to take a break and eat something, and then I will be back a bit later for the evening stream. Then you can maybe help me um, figure out how to create trees in. Oh, who was it? Oh no, Brain Drain was the one with the trees in Blender. Um, how do you create those trees? Do you just use different LODs and stack them on top of each other, or um, like you would normal LOD tree, or is there some kind of plugin you use to make them work properly with wind and all that stuff? I mean, okay, these trees, there's no wind at the moment. It's interesting. Why are they not? Is there no wind? Thought I had wind in here. Strange. Yeah, but God rays still work. So I think I had the atmospheric fog in here for the underwater effects. I'm not 100% sure. Okay. We'll have a look at that. Because I noticed that I can't use speed trees because I can't afford speed trees. Or I can't create them because they want a credit card, which I don't have. So I can't even test it properly. Can't use their subscription thingy. That's why I'm still using the kite demo trees here. For some reason we don't have wind, which is strange. I thought I had wind thing in here. Really render effect, but let's see. I mean, they do move. Okay, now they move slightly. Yeah, but the thing is, I still need to change them because they do not look like trees, like the trees I want to have in here. So I need to create my own somehow. I mean, my shrooms are in here, but can't put only shrooms in the forest. There need to be some trees as well. Yeah, but I will definitely have a look at that. Was it sapling add-on? And then figure out a way to work with that. And as I was painting here before, because there need to be some kind of farm layout here and proper farm textures for kind of tilled ground and stuff like that. So, and then I need to add bigger farm buildings here. Ah, okay. And I think up here there would be just meadows for animals of some kind. Still need to figure out if I want to have complete fantasy creatures, or if I would just add cows, chickens, and pigs in here. Because if I, in either case, I need to kind of cows and chickens, not chaos chickens. Sorry. But chaos chickens would be interesting. But the problem is how to use them as a farm animal. Might be a bit unpredictable. Hello, Elma. How are you? Yeah, those two farms next to the brewery are mostly used for ingredients that are needed at the brewery itself. So those will definitely fields with barley or stuff like that. To remove those trees. because they are on a field. Yeah, but the big problem I have at the moment is that I see the areas where I need to add stuff to it, and they get more and more and more. So it's kind of getting bigger and bigger, more to do, and I'm already way behind schedule. So not sure how long I can kind of keep this schedule I had for a long time and kind of try to do at the moment, and not think about getting a job. Because I am unemployed at the moment, which is not good. I think I will turn this here into a woodcutter. This will be a kind of small vegetable farm, and this will be an orchard, I think, because they don't really need a vineyard here, but some kind of an orchard would be okay. And those terraces here. Yeah, we'll definitely have a look at it. Even though here we come into the area where it might kind of clash with the idea of graphic style I want to have in my game. That's another thing I need to kind of the shrooms here are kind of stylized already, and I'm adding the other one. Let's add the other shroom in here. Where is it? Shrooms. Okay, that's too many of them. Definitely too many of them. Yeah. And I mean, they already have kind of a tree looking trunk, but are still stylized, kind of. That's the thing I need to look for on trees as well. They need to change the trunks here because they don't have any normal on them. Though they have problems with LODs. Quite sure why. Maybe I need to look into the LODs here again. But I will definitely have a look at the sapling add-on for Blender, and maybe I can get some interesting trees out of that. Interesting looking trees. Shroom orchard. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, let's see. Let's open up this one. And I have 5 LOD steps here, and the last one still has 168 triangles. At the moment I'm LD. I mean, I could maybe change that if I go down here, but if I apply changes, then okay, now I removed it because put that to 0. Yep, I know. Wait, why doesn't... What's going on here? there needs to be an undo for the editor you have open and not the editor here. Because at the moment if I'm doing undo, it's not changing anything in the active editor, but somewhere in the back, which is annoying. Apply changes. Yeah, okay, I kind of destroyed the last LOD for some reason. Yeah. Yeah, but there has to be some way to get this right, because the problem is that it's um, working with percentage of triangles. And if I could just say number of triangles, then it would be easier. Or average triangle number or so. But the other problem is that kind of need to create the picture that is used as the billboard texture. Yep. But this one here is kind of broken for some reason. Because if I zoom out, the textures here on LD2 are still the same, but for some reason cannot doesn't fill them properly. If I go back a bit more, then more breaks, and then at some point the red is back. So as a result, the LODs are kind of broken because the colors disappear, and that's kind of the point of the whole thing, that you see the colored mesh somewhere in the distance. Interesting. know that. Let's reboot that. Okay, so I need to save this and then okay, it's a bit strange. Interesting. Yeah. Um. I think I will stop here and then I will be back for an evening stream. Not quite sure if it will be at 6. Could be that it's maybe an hour later or so. But kind of depends how fast I get the food done and if I need to go shopping and stuff like that. And then I think I will have a look at the Blender plugin or add-on, because I really need trees, and I need trees that I have control over when I'm creating them. So I can remove those trees here and create a few other ones that I can use for my forest. So we'll see you guys later. Bye bye.